My name is Domenico Sicilia. I'm a composer and songwriter working with PPC. I grew up in the church. I'm the child of a pastor, so I've been involved in the ministry most of my life. I got involved in the music whole aspect of church. I could say my first memories like when I was about 14, 15 years old in the band and stuff like that. And then just from there it just evolved to different stages of, perfecting my craft and different ways of creating music and exploring different avenues, different styles, stuff like that. I think the first recording that we ever made together was the first time that I ever actually put pen to paper and created something a little more solid, other than just jamming, because that's what we used to do all the time, was just jam and hang out and play music together with no real structure or form in any way. But then as we did that together, I have very distinct memories that we started honing, what it looks like to hammer out a song, or what developing an idea from its birth to a little bit more advanced stages of the production process, what it actually looks like and the amount of work that it actually entails. So I have fond memories of those days, and it was definitely the first time that I remember actually making my music, my process and how I go about doing things, or how I think it should be done, or what I think it should sound like, which I think for an artist is a really integral moment when you are hearing music for so long and then eventually you start to put your own spin on it and start creating your own thing. I think it's a very pivotal time in any musician's career or composer, anybody, in that matter. So I have a lot of memories of those days. They were good times. PPC for me is like a outlet or a central hub for people that are looking to take their music and their craft and their art as their offerings to God in a more serious manner, in a more structured and effective way, so we can deliver the best possible quality product when we're worshiping, when we're creating, when we're doing everything. These talents that we have that were given to us by God, we want to do them as excellently as possible. So PPC for me is the vehicle through which we can all achieve that in our own lives, individually and collectively as a group. So that's why PPC for me is just something that makes sense. My music making process gets me a little bit of criticism sometimes, but the way I like to do it is throughout my daily course of my life, I'll just be kind of doing whatever I'm doing, and for whatever reason, some thought or some tune or some melody or some idea, even sometimes it's just a couple words that I'll jot together, or I'll hum something on my phone. I'll always I use my phone for that a lot. I'll always put it onto my phone. So I'll make a note of a little lyric or a line or an idea or concept, or I think the one thing I get flack for sometimes is my voice notes on my phone, or just a random arbitrary list of me humming nonsense to myself, which kind of seems like nonsense, but what I like to do is try to capture the spontaneity of that moment. And then when I'm able to go back to my workspace, elaborate on that one idea, or take it or stash it for another day or whatever, but kind of build a repertoire of concepts to play around with, right? Even if nothing ever comes of it, but just to be able to practice that artistic process of getting things out from the inception of an idea to a full process. So I'll take that recording, I'll usually take it back to my place, my little home studio, and then just start fleshing out the details. I used to use, learning to use new software and different types of tools in order to do it the best way, because the processes that I used to use, you get kind of attached to doing things a certain way. But I think one of the biggest challenges is just constantly being ready to evolve and adapt and learn new ways of doing things, or new sounds, or new styles, or just new ways to be more productive, so I can spend my time actually creating, and not getting too hung up on the details. The most impactful or memorable experience I think I've had through music was a concert. I guess I could call it a concert that I went to with the church youth group, my church youth group, a long time ago. And I think certain concepts or ideas or biblical concepts that I've always known in my head to be a certain way, like I know the information. There was one concert in particular, I just remember that, I don't know what it was or why it is, but music itself kind of amplified my understanding, or was the catalyst to it actually becoming real for me. So for me, that was probably the most pivotal time. It's, it kind of like unlocked this pathway in my being, in my mind, in my spirit, in my soul, like made things more real to me because of the music, which at the time didn't really make any sense, right? But the more I got involved in the creative process of making music, listening to music and all that, it just seemed to be something that's naturally, I think, what humans kind of lean towards for whatever reason, but then also spiritually, it's something that is biblical. It's in the Bible. Like, it's there for a reason, music, right? So, yeah, I remember it very distinctly.
Is that something you want to create for other people?
Yeah, definitely. I think that when you're kind of searching or like in that state, you're just, I guess people might call it being free, or just like kind of flowing or having no inhibition. I think in a way, being able to do that in worship and to just focus on the music and focus on the connection that you have with God at that moment, is where like the real work is done, in the sense of change in people's lives and like the real growth and the real healing. So that's what I've kind of experienced. So yeah, it's like, I think that it doesn't even require much of an effort to think that if you have the gift or in any way of contributing towards that, then God would expect you to do that. So to, allow other people the opportunity to maybe have the same experience, right? So yeah, that's the goal.